few people have asked me what's going to be happening in the Senate. Now, obviously, all the attention is on whether the Labor Party could form a government downstairs. They'll do that with 76 or 77 seats, meaning they're pretty safe from the Tiffany Teals and all the rest of it. They'll get their own speaker. If they end up at 76, Andrew Wilkie has offered to be the speaker, so they're fine. Their numbers are nice and tight. But the Senate is where what we've said about for the past 6 weeks is going to come true, that the Greens are the absolute kingmakers in the Senate. But according to the ABC, these are some of their projections about who has 1 or 6 spots that are available, 2 in the different territories. So I wanted to go through these so you can work out whether who you voted for got there or didn't. Let's have a look first at the ACT. The ACT is going to return one of the mean girls in Katie Gallagher, who will, of course, become the Finance Minister, and then the former Australian rugby captain, David Pocock, is one of the Teal lefties, one of the Tiffany Teals. He's going to take Zed Sezelja's spot. In New South Wales, Maurice Payne, Deb O'Neill, a National, another Labor, a new Green, and our old mate Jim Molan look like they are all across the line with those 6. In Victoria, Sarah Henderson is back along with Bridget McKenzie. Lydia Thorpe gets 6 more years in the Senate, along with a couple of people from the Labor Party. And there's a chance at this stage, based on tonight's count, that the only thing that Clive Palmer got for his $80 million is not a small prize. He gets a seat in the Senate. It won't be for him, but it'll be for a bloke you've never heard of called Ralph. We might try and meet him in the next couple of weeks. Here in Queensland, James McGrath, along with the great Matt Canavan, have both been sent back to the Senate. The Greens bring someone new with them. The Labor Party has 2. And at this stage on the early count, Pauline Hanson looks like she is going to get there. In Western Australia, you've got, obviously, a couple of Liberals, a couple of Labor people, no giant change there. The Greens, Labor doing so well, essentially they got half of the Senate vote, which means they are going to get 3 of the 6 spots. So that's a walk backwards from where the former government was. In South Australia, Simon Birmingham and Penny Wong lead the list for the Liberal and the Labor Party. There's another couple from the Labor Party, the Greens and the Liberals. In the Northern Territory, the best news of all is that Jacinta Price will be a senator for the Northern Territory. How good to have her in the Senate taking on Lydia Thorpe. So there is a different perspective coming on the behalf of Indigenous women and people who care about the territory. In Tasmania, the Jackie Lambie network, well, her former staffer will end up becoming a senator because she got about 20% of the vote in the north of the state. And basically it is game as usual, but the 6th spot, which was to be Eric Betts, he's gone, replaced by somebody from the Lambie network. Now, I explain all of this to you because these are the numbers in the Senate. Now, this is the future of Australian politics for the next 3 years. This is the fight, and this is where we can work out whether the government gets its agenda or has to go cap in hand to the Greens. So the Lib and Nats have 31, the ALP 26, Greens 12, Lambie 2, One Nation 2, and the Tiffany Teal is 1. Now let me explain how these numbers work. You need 39 votes to get a majority in the Senate, to get something passed. The only way you can do that is if Labor and the Greens work together. Now, if Labor and the Greens work together and they get the independent, then they get to 39. If they get Labor, Greens, Lambie, then they can push their way towards 40. But that's an idea about how the Senate works. So put simply, our prediction for the past 6 weeks that the Greens are the co-pilot, they are the co-government, well, they have all the say in the Senate. Now, one of the first tests for the new opposition is going to be what are they going to do when it comes to the Labor Party's promise of introducing legislation for the 43% emissions reduction target plus net zero for 2050. Now, obviously, the Greens want to go to 75, the Tiffany's want to get to 60, but Labor says they will not negotiate on 43. So here's a prediction for the next couple of weeks, and certainly Parliament going back not until after the school holidays in July, is that the media will try to put as much pressure on the opposition as possible to say they have to vote for what the Labor Party wants. But a reminder to those who cover politics for a living, Bill Shorten, after the 2013 election, you would have thought, if it was, look, let's do what clearly the government wants because the government won an election, he would have got the Labor Party to vote with the government to get rid of the carbon tax. Instead, no, it wasn't until the following July where that was able to happen because there was a new Senate in place. So it'll be an instant test here for how the opposition plays. Now, obviously, the media will say that they're climate deniers if they don't turn around and back the 43%. But don't they have a mandate too? Now, it's not a mandate that won an election, but it's a mandate that they can use in the Senate. Let's test from the start how the Greens are going to be as the people in charge of whether things pass or fail on the behalf of the new government. Let's see from day one what it is like for a Tiffany Teal to actually be a person of responsibility, not just somebody representing the new country of the United States of Radio National.